Alright, here is everything wired, or not wired up yet, but put together. We got the compressor, fuse box, got our switch to turn the compressor on, the chuck, and then we have our circuit breaker on the back that we're going to put the fuse box to, and then to relocate the chuck, I basically just put some fittings here and then tube all the way around to the chuck. I'll leave a description in the description all these little pieces that I use and the sizing, so you can find it. It was a little tough finding it at Home Depot, but I did it. Hopefully it works and I have no leaks, but we'll see. Let's wire it up and then put it on the truck. Alright, so this video might cut at a weird spot. So when I was installing, I believe the last thing was drilling these holes, possibly, or putting everything on. I think putting everything on was the last part I was doing, and it was just super frustrating. The wiring for this wasn't working. I cut off a whole bunch of stuff just to make it work without the solenoids. If you ever get an ARB compressor, it comes with a huge wiring harness that has 2 solenoids in it plus a switch. It's just super confusing. The diagram's confusing. So I cut it all up and figured out a way to just have one switch, a fuse, and then it goes into here and goes to the pressure switches. It's very confusing. If you have questions on it, just let me know. I can send you a little picture of how I wired it up. But this is the final product. It was frustrating. Took about 5 days in total to complete. But yeah, let me give you a little rundown of what I have. I have the fuse box right here, which connects my pods. The fridge that runs into the back, I'll show you in a second. It also has a battery monitor that goes into next to the steering wheel. I'll show you that as well. And then it goes to a circuit breaker, and then to my Odyssey battery. I do have the switch right here. It's just a little easier, don't really need it inside. And then I relocated the chuck to over here. The hose actually popped. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I took a picture of it. I was on the trail and it popped very first tire. That was my fault. I used a very horrible tube. So I actually got a new heavier duty tube from Lowe's, and that I replaced it already under here. This is just a piece today. That was too short. But yeah, so it's a lot heavier duty hose that will work and not pop. It's like 250 psi working. The last one was, I believe, 50 psi, so popped pretty quick. But yeah, this is all that's on here. The tray, I drilled a lot of holes that are pretty unnecessary, but I don't really care about looks. As long as it functions, I'm good. The one thing I would say is plan it out a little better. For me, I didn't put the plate on here before I drilled all those holes. The switch is actually hitting one of these boxes, and then the chuck is super close to here. It works. It's just close. Everything else is good. The fuse box is good. The fuse box is a little big, but I wanted the more. I wasn't sure at how many things I'll be running to the battery, so for me it felt better to get the more terminals. The compressor's in a good spot. If you can get it somewhere else, or if you didn't have this huge fuse box, you can maybe put it right here. Wiring looks probably like a rat's nest under, but you can't really see it, so yeah. This tray was a pain in the ass. If you don't have super skinny arms like me, it's going to be really hard for you to put this in. Even if you take this fuse box panel off, it's going to, it's still going to be hard. It'll give you a little more room, but it's hard to get the bolts, these two bolts over here. But if you put the further bolt in first and turning this, because the holes are slotted on the tray, so if you put the tray in sideways or diagonal, then put that bolt in and screw it in, you've got a good base going. And then that's when you have to really lift and jiggle this panel or the tray over and around, up and down. It's a real pain in the ass to get this bolt in. And then the leg, which I'll show you right now. So the leg actually bolts in right here, which is very easy to get to because you can just put your hand under here, and that's probably the easiest bolt. Just wiggle it around a little bit and then get it to go up. But as you can see, it is almost no room. There's no room to get in there. But I got skinny hands, so it was easy for me. I just got really cut up. If you look at my hands, I don't know if it'll focus. It's a little cut up, but yeah, overall it looks clean. Props to Power Tray for making a nice clean mount, but make it a little, I know Rago has ones where the brackets go up here, so you can just access it right here. Power Tray should get on that bandwagon. As you can see, I don't know if you can get a good look, but the bolts are in there. Yeah, you can't really see it with the switch in the way, but the bolts are back there. Overall, really like it, but yeah, works. See if it turns on, turns off, good to go. But yeah, I'll show you the fridge and the inside. So here is my battery monitor. It's just a cheap little, I still need to grind some stuff in there to get it to fit. It's just a cheap little Amazon one. It's for dual battery. Eventually I'm going to put another battery in, so felt it was necessary. But just to keep an eye on my battery voltage, so it doesn't run low, make sure it's charged. It's mainly for the fridge. But yeah, let's go take a look at the fridge now. Car is a little messy. I'm actually working on a project to get a shelving system going in here, but that's for later, hopefully next week. But here's the Costway fridge. It's very nice, works great, highly recommend it. It was about $379 on Amazon, and you don't need to buy a super expensive fridge when you can get one that does the same thing and works exactly the same way. Although Dometic is nice, and I wish I had a Dometic, but I don't really have the budget for that. And it's all ran through here. So there is a hole, and I just plug that in and it turns the fridge on. But I also have, let's see if I can do this with one hand. I also have this Noco Boost, Genius Boost. It's just a battery backup, just in case the fridge fails to shut off. There's a little switch in the back to check the cut the battery off. But yeah, that's just in case. Great little thing. For the fridge, I actually ran the wires through here. They go down this, or up this, and then they're all just hanging around down here, and then it goes up around behind the glove box, and then it goes along all the way to the back. All I did was I popped these, so if you have like a panel popper, it's a lot easier. They're really hard to get off. but just jam it under there and then pull it off, and then there's a wire track that goes all the way to the back, and then it goes all the way to the back, and I drilled a hole and then plugged it in. Alright guys, if you liked this video, please hit that subscribe button, like it, and if you have any questions on this, you can send me a message on Instagram. It's probably a little easier, or leave it in the comments down below, and I'll get back really fast. But yeah, until next time, remember, do cool shit.